This is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. If you like my videos, please hit the red subscribe button. I'm going to revisit a subject that I talked about probably a couple years ago. Whenever somebody asks for new advice, they're new on the job, whether it's corrections or police, of what they need to succeed, probably within the first 5 answers they get, whether it's on Facebook or any other social media, is to be firm, fair, and consistent. That's great advice. We need to be firm, fair, and consistent, whether we're a correctional officer or a police officer. But unfortunately, a new person coming in doesn't realize what firm, fair, and consistent means. Firm. I guess I'm going to give my definition of firm. Firm is being someone who's aware of the policies and procedures, aware of the rules in an institution, and makes the inmate comply with those rules. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be a hard ass. You don't have to be a F. Lee Ermey from Full Metal Jacket and climb down somebody's throat anytime something goes on. But it does mean that you enforce the rules. Fair. Fair means that you enforce the rules fairly. You know, as a police officer, if I stop someone and I'm going to give them a break, the next time I stop someone in a similar situation, am I going to give them a break? Possibly. Is it fair? It is, but it's based on the individuals. Now, if you're working in a prison, being fair. If you're going to write an inmate up because they were playing their radio too loud, and then a couple days later, another inmate whose cell is next to him is playing his radio too loud, and you give him a break. We wrote the first guy up because he's a real jackwagon and maybe you don't like him or whatever. We have to take personalities out of the equation. It's hard to do. If somebody's throwing urine at you, if somebody's threatened you or your family, if I walk up to a car and somebody gives me a ration of crap, it's difficult to maintain your consistency with that individual. You know, as a police officer, I have a set speed. And if somebody violates that speed, they're going to receive a citation. And I've heard every excuse there is. In fact, I had a woman actually crap her pants in the car once. She had to go to the bathroom so badly. Well, if she'd have told me, I would have told her just going to the gas station right across the road. But I've heard everything from I've got to go to the bathroom. One of the best was I was driving 106 miles an hour because my cooling system on my car isn't working, and I needed to drive that fast to force air through my grill to keep my engine cool. Well, you know, that excuse didn't work. So being fair and firm, I gave that individual a citation, as I would have given anybody a citation driving that fast. And the last one is consistent. Once again, if you're going to write up inmate A for playing their radio too loudly because he's a jackwagon, and the guy next to him, who maybe is an inmate that you like, you know, and let's admit it, you might not want to admit it to everybody, but there are inmates you like over other inmates, you decide to give him a break. Well, what are you setting? You know, for one thing, you're setting yourself up for failure, because if any inmates want to complain about favored behavior, they can certainly do that, favored treatment. So being firm, fair, and consistent. What you do to one person, do to all people. Now, that doesn't mean if you're a jackwagon yourself, and you're a real hard ass, and you envision yourself as a real hard ass, that you need to be a hard ass to everybody. What it means is that you need to treat people firmly, fairly, and consistently, and you need to treat them as individuals, you need to treat them as human beings. You know, it can be a confusing concept, the whole firm, fair, and consistent thing. What it comes down to, and the way I look at it, is I treat people the way that I would want to be treated in a similar circumstance. You know, I always tell people I didn't always wear a uniform. I did things in my youth that probably could have ended me up on the other side of the wire. Now, I never committed a gross felony, I never hurt anybody, but, you know, I did stupid things, and I could have ended up in jail. And if I did, I would have wanted to be treated as a human being. And that's what we have to do, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a correctional officer. Treat people as human beings. Yeah, inmates are inmates. They've done wrong. They're in prison as punishment. They're not in prison for punishment. It's not your job to punish them. Just as a police officer, it's not your job to punish people. It's your job to enforce the laws. It's up to the courts to decide that punishment. So until next time, this is Keith Helwig from Cops Corrections Videos. Stay safe and watch your back.